defending champions up 1-0. Pick it up, things physical early on. George Laraque and Daryl Sador puts him into the boards. Glass falls out. The glass would be okay and return to the game. Later in the first, Alexander Sullivan with the blast. Gets by Eddie Belfour. That shot, that got that glass.
The one good thing about this kind of glass is, in fact, that it has a lot of give. So when players hit it, it gives a lot. And we don't see, I don't think, as many injuries and concussions here in Dallas because of it. The new seamless glass might be great for the fans, but it just doesn't give as much. And a lot of teams do, in fact, use the stanchions around behind the nets. Philadelphia comes to mind, and then they use the seamless glass on the sides. And I think that's a pretty good compromise.
Oh, well, we've got this break. Let's join Scott Russell.
Thanks very much, Chris. Well, we've got a moment, a nice chance to talk to some parents of a good young hockey player, Brendan Morrow of Carlisle, Saskatchewan. Here are Dick and Lucille, who made the 23-hour trip by car here to Dallas. First of all, I want to ask you, though, Dick, how's Brendan looked in his rookie season to you, his dad?
He's doing good.
Are you happy with his play?
Yeah.
All right, how about you, Lucille? I know you two operate a sporting goods store in Carlisle. What kind of a guy is Brendan?
He's just a really nice kid. We're really proud of him. He's just always
said about fitting into the National Hockey League and his experience here in Dallas.
I think he was a little surprised at how easily he has fit in. He's pinching or knocking on wood all the time, I think, for the first month. But now he feels that the team has treated him very well. The guys all treat him really well, and he feels like it's...
Little high stick knocked down by Matvichuk, but Cleary was on the puck to keep it alive for Edmonton.
And we're seeing more puck support. There's outlet passes for every Edmonton Oiler puck carrier when they have the puck. There's an outlet pass. There's another one. Is somebody available now? Yes. And that's much better so far in this game for the Edmonton Oilers than last night.
And again, that was the primary focus of Kevin Lowe this morning in response to what he saw last night. Now Pusher stands up at the Dallas line. It's fired in by Cleary. Oilers changing 8.5 minutes into a scoreless first period. And now a long pass for Lyashenko on the right wing. Chopped away from him. Nieuwendyk follows up. He's watched by Ulanov. Puck loose. Now Nieuwendyk after it behind the net, trying to sweep it in front. Lyashenko takes over at the side of the net. Jamie Pusher deflected in on Salo, and he sprawls to make the save. Laraque, Dowd, and Kevin Brown making his first appearance in this series, replacing Dan Lacuture. Brown in his first National Hockey League playoff game, wearing number 10 and playing left wing. Rolled down in the Dallas zone. Back to get it, Dave Manson. He bumped quickly. Brown in on the forecheck, and it's ahead for Muller. Now Hull. Aaron Geeby centering this line. Last time Muller and Hull were out, Modano was at center. Here's a pass out front, and Brown picks it off for Edmonton. Passed it behind Laraque. Nienema will jump up. Got to the line, flipped it in. Oilers change. Here comes Sullivan off with Bryn Murray. Pass went by Keane, the length of the ice. And an icing call.
Well, Ken Hitchcock has a couple of concerns, and one of them is the team's goal-scoring ability. You know, they've scored 2 goals or less now 7 games in a row. And Ken realizes that that's not going to be good enough to win a Stanley Cup. You've got to be able to score more than just 2 goals a game to win a championship, and he knows it too. The other concern he has about the Edmonton Oilers, he said, you know, last year they'd run at us and hit and bounce off us. This year they're a much better puck protection type of team down low, and they do have, concern us, he said, when they do get behind the goal line of Ed Belfour. And when Edmonton did last night, they did get some chances to score. So we'll see if Edmonton, in fact, can get the puck in deeper tonight.
That puck came out and back in. Offside. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Labatt Blue. The 10-minute mark of the opening period in Game 2 at Reunion Arena in Dallas. The Stars out shooting the Oilers 3-1 in a tightly contested opening period. Ken Hitchcock said this morning the only thing he wanted to see improved by his team in Game 2 was a better first period, a quicker start to the game. Not sure he would categorize that in his first period as being accomplished. There's Titov for the Oilers, battling down low with Selivanov.
One thing that's going to be a test for the Oilers is to keep their patience. You know, the Stars won't change their game much at all. And the Oilers have to just continue to play theirs here now that they have it going for a full 60 minutes.
Here's Murray with some skating room, got to center, flips it in. Selivanov will chase the door. We've got a penalty coming up, and it's a high sticking call as we join Scott Russell.
Thanks very much, Chris. Saskatchewan is well represented here tonight. Here's Saskatoon's Brian Struthen, a member of the Stanley Cup champion Dallas Stars, forced to watch because of injury. How do they look, though, in terms of their road to try and repeat this thing?
Well, Scotty, I think we're looking great. We've got a lot of people who have filled in holes which have been there all season long, I think. And the young guys have done a marvelous job, acting like older players with a lot of maturity. And you know, there's a lot of pressure coming in here, and you're joining a Stanley Cup champion team, and all of a sudden you're asked to do more than maybe what you would expect their roles to be. But we've been just, it's been fun to watch, and I've been watching a lot of hockey. Our young guys have been playing well, and our old guys obviously give us a chance to repeat.
You've been through the wars. You missed more than 50 games with this chest thing this year. What are you thinking about in terms of the end of the season? Brian, will you be back?
Well, it'll all depend. I'm working awful hard to make sure that I get a chance to win one more Stanley Cup here, and then be family time to sit down and decide with Lana and the kids and see what we want to do. And I obviously love to play forever, but this back training room and these 32 training camps a year are getting to me.
Listen, it's been great watching you, and good luck to you and the Stars the rest of the way, Brian.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Scott.
Guys?
If he was healthy, he might be out there now as a penalty killer. Mike Keane off for high sticking. And the Oilers 0 for 5 in the series, back on the power play. As Waite dumps it in, Smith battling Modano for the puck. And Modano with a quick stick flicks it over the glass out of play.
Well, the Dallas Star beat a record this year for the best penalty kill ever in the National Hockey League. And one of the keys is up front with Carbonneau and Keane normally, who's in the penalty box. Carbonneau's a great angler, so he will angle the puck this way. And this winger here either goes straight back or he funnels as well. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to get the lane all set for Hatcher, who will just come in and nail bodies right here. And often this winger will also come back and back him up. And they are so good down ice in terms of their penalty kill because of their angling and their smart plays.
Stars control from the face-off, and they get it out. Muller sending it past Hammerlick down the ice. Tom Cody leading the Oilers out to center. First minute of the power play gone. Hammerlick over the line. Smith back into Hammerlick. There's Guerin in the corner. Missed the pass, and Muller back out to center.
Again, there's that angle by Carbonneau. He pushes the players to the corners, and here comes Hatcher over. He can't come this time because they gained the line.
Ryan Smith, the cross for Waite, lost it in the slot, and Hatcher bounces it out.
Now it's Sloan's turn to go up with the angle. Let's see where he directs traffic. He'll circle. Now we got 3 in the neutral zone waiting.
Up to Ryan Smith. There's Selivanov over the line. He'll get it into the inboards. Big hit there, delivered by Smith. Selivanov stepped up, and we're going to get another penalty. And this one is going against the Oilers. And Hatcher, who delivered the biggest hit of Game 1 on Titov, was a little slow to get to his skates.
And Selivanov's going to get a penalty. And Hatcher seems to be all right, and I know that he's taken a number. You can bet on it.
It's Doug Waite going off with 16 seconds remaining in Keane's minor.
Pardon me, from my angle, I thought it was Selivanov going down, but it was Waite coming from behind here. There, Selivanov arrives late. Doug Waite is the culprit as he gives Hatcher a ride into the boards, checking from behind. He's in for 2 minutes for boarding.
Greg, that's 2 consecutive Oiler power plays without a shot. In fact, again, just 1 shot now in the series on the power play.
I didn't mind the Oilers' first power play because they did get the puck in. The second one, they went back to their old problems of game 1 where they weren't shooting it in and chasing it. And now we have a 4-on-4 situation for 5 seconds, and then the Stars get their first power play of the hockey game.
Looks in front, Marchand, Belfour down. That's the Oilers' best chance, as the Stars made one of those rare brain cramps in their own zone.
Well, you say rare, but so far in this series, they've been good for at least 1 a period. And Ed Belfour, his timing has been marvelous in terms of big saves. It was last night. And here, midway through the first period, another giveaway as that puck is bouncing all over the place. Todd Marchand cups it in, and Ed Belfour does a super job of covering the lower half of the net. Belfour's a big man, so even when he goes down, he covers a lot up high. And he just spreads out here, and that bouncing puck doesn't go up and over top of him.
But now the Stars have the power play. First time tonight. Modano and Nieuwendyk are up front along with Brett Hull. Nieuwendyk can't get it in deep. Jason Smith knocked it down, and they'll have to regroup at center. Pounded in by Hull. Stopped up by Salo, and Jason Smith gets it by Sador and rolls it down the ice.
That was a good play by Salo to jump out of the net and stop it behind the net. That enabled the Oiler defense to drill it down the ice. See if he can do it again. He missed that one.
Robertson back, Ethan Morrow, and he got it by Cote down the ice with under 6.5 minutes remaining in the opening period.
Ethan Morrow out there again. You know, he didn't get much sleep last night because he was told to ice that thigh every 2 hours. So he set the alarm every 2 hours and put ice on his thigh. So he must be a pretty tired guy right now.
Robertson fires it around, knocked down by Cote. Here's the shot, and it's kicked aside by Salo. And Robertson has to go pick up the pieces of a broken stick along the inboards.
Cote will get a lot of power play ice time because of the absence to Sergei Zubov, who is still out with that knee injury. And Ken Hitchcock is using him exclusively on the power play, and he's getting regular shift as well. Now that puck skips a little bit on Salo, but good concentration is what he shows there to stay with the skip and then boot it out of the rink.
30 saves last night for Salo, clearly the best Oiler on the ice, and as Kevin Lowe mentioned, Salo alone gave the Oilers a chance to win game 1. There's Dowd chopping at it along the boards. Stars come up with it. Langenbrunner readies himself for the pass and has the puck. Feeds the point. That's Matvechuk. Trying to flip it through, and it went high through traffic. Salo never saw it. 15 seconds left in the Stars power play. Here's Brendan Morrow trying to force it across. Niedema does a nice job of preventing the pass.
He made a kick save. That was a good play.
Hatcher now, shot knocked down by Murray. And Waite returns to the ice. There's a breakaway pass, and Belfour, sensing trouble, comes well out of the net. They almost hooked up Doug Waite out of the penalty box with a break.
There's a good penalty kill sequence for Niedema. 2 good blocks, and then he rifled that puck down the ice.
It's been an airtight first period. 4 to the shots. Jordan taken down.
And to Doug Waite. Did he wake up Hatcher? He made him.
Hammerlick and Pody. Pody backhands it in. And there is Hatcher. Knocked down by Smith. Along the boards against Modano. Now Guerin moves in. Puck comes loose. And Dave Manson outlets to Modano. Flying through center. Drops for Hull. Across. He scores! Kurt Fuller!
After a very solid period so far by the Edmonton Oilers. They break down, and guess what? It ends up in their net. And Mike Modano starts it off with that speed once again through the neutral zone. 3 Oilers chase Modano, and that leaves Kirk Muller wide open. Now, one thing that the Dallas Stars want to do is wait for Salo to go down and then shoot high. And that's exactly what Kirk Muller does here. He waits, and then he chips it up and over top of Salo. A big goal for the Dallas Stars with 4:25 to go in the first.
15:33, the time of the goal. Muller's first of the playoffs from Hull and Modano. That's the 4th line with the double shifting Mike Modano starting the play and Kirk Muller finishing it.
When you see Modano with speed coming through the neutral zone, your tendency is to gravitate towards him and chase him. And that's what the Oilers did there. They chased Mike Modano and then burnt them. This is Hockey Night Canada, brought to you by Labatt Blue. Down the lane. And there's that perfect pass to him. And then a beautiful delay up and over top of Tommy Salo by Kirk Muller on the shot. But all because of speed and entering the zone with speed.
I have to catch myself saying that's the 4th line when you've got Brett Hull, Mike Modano, and Kirk Muller. But that's what Ken Hitchcock calls his 4th line. It's usually Aaron Gavey at center, but he does double shift Modano at times, and what a great result there. Here's a puck in the crease, and alertly the Eagle pounces on that. Some heavy traffic in front of the Dallas netminder as we rejoin Ron McLean.
Thanks a lot, Chris and Greg. I'm sure you'll find this one interesting. When it got to 2-2 and Brian Boucher was put in the hot seat, he came through. The Flyers get the go-ahead goal from Gagner, and they hang on to defeat Buffalo 3-2 to grab Game 1 of that series.
Looks like the Sabres had the momentum in that game, erasing an early 2-0 deficit, but the Flyers prevail.
And I've enjoyed Kevin Brown's game so far because he's playing really playoff hockey, and perhaps that's why Kevin Lowe has put him in the game, and he goes right to the net on Ed Belfour. And he's the kind of player that can be effective in playoff games because of his size and his grit.
6-year journeyman, played 19 games with the Oilers this year. Dowd getting set on this face-off against Nieuwendyk. Pulls it back, and Nienema. In behind the net, Larac. Couldn't gain control of it. And Lyashchenko out to Thornton. It's played right back in by the Oilers. 3 minutes, 3 seconds to go in the first period. Kirk Muller has given the Dallas Stars a 1-0 lead in Game 2. There's Nieuwendyk. Bodied by Nienema. Now Nieuwendyk trying to work it free with Lyashchenko. Nieuwendyk off the end boards. Got tangled up with his line mate Thornton. Cote sent it forward, and Nieuwendyk again has possession. Nieuwendyk coming off a tough injury-plagued season, trying to get back into the form he showed last year on the run to the cup. Now a pass for Brown. Larac was trapped inside the zone, and that line will head off for the Oilers. Marchand comes out with Cleary and Morrow. Mike Modano links rink wide. Morrow unable to take the pass. Langenbrunner lays it back to the captain, Hatcher. At the Oiler line, it's Hammerlick. Marchand, right wing pass to Cleary, who called last night's game his biggest thrill in hockey since he was drafted. His first postseason game. Now Modano. Nice move by Modano, ducking in. Check, rebound, rolled wide. Mike Modano again. He has been a handful for the Oilers.
He just keeps moving his feet every time he has the puck in his stick. And he's so good at doing that. Now he's just dancing around people, and he can still keep control of the puck. How do you defend against that, Chris?
Dallas Stars feel he's been the best player in the NHL since the All-Star break, and only Teemu Selanne had more points down the stretch in that period of time than Mike Modano. Here's Guerin trying to get loose on the right side. Plays it back to Ulanov. Ryan Smith trying to spring weight, but it was broken up by Hatcher. And now into the final minute of the period. Mike Keane to Carbonneau, misfired on the short side, and a ricochet's out.
Carbonneau's wearing a big cast in his right hand, so very difficult for him to even shoot pucks in those situations. I shook his hand coming into the rink, and I couldn't believe it. A regular cast on the right wrist.
He's a Warrior, 40 years of age. 17th Stanley Cup playoff run for Guy Carbonneau.
What amazed me last night, I mean, he had no problem whatsoever taking draws and winning them.
And how about those guys? They play the top lines all season long and still end up being plus players. And how about Mike? There's 6-3 in the first period.
Larocque, this is what Larocque does best. He uses his strength, and oh boy, Brown was left wide open in front. If Larocque could have seen him, that would have been a good opportunity to score on Ed Belfour. And Larocque uses that frame and body. He's learned now how to use his size to his advantage to grab loose pucks in the corners and win the battles in the corners. And how do you defend against this guy when he does that? He's so big.
From the face-off, Nienema was able to keep it in for Edmonton. Got to an open wing, and Jamie Pusher. Out to Brendan Morrow. Langenbrunner lost it, and it rolls onto the stick of Sador. Nienema fires it back in, and play has been whistled down. Hit somebody at the Oiler bench, and we'll join Scott Russell.
Craig McTavish of the Oilers, one of your early problems appears to be the speed by which Mike Modano can get to the blue line, get over it. How do you neutralize that?
Well, I think Mike poses that problem for a lot of teams. I mean, he's obviously a very speedy skater, and he picks up the puck, and you know, he exploits the smallest of gaps and turns them into offense, as he did on their goal.
What do you do in terms of the physical part of the game? It appears to be that you're more in it physically tonight.
Well, I think that's true. We had a couple big hits early, but you know, they're a team that really force you to play a patient style, and I think that you know, we're down a goal. We're disappointed by that, but the fact of the matter is we're still very much in the hockey game, and we better get used to this type of hockey because we're going to see a lot of it.
Greg, thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
Greg McTavish and company would love to see this top line for the Oilers get on track, but so far nothing happening for the Oilers offensively, but there is scoring elsewhere. Here's Rob.
Thanks a lot, Chris. We'll give you a triple update here and just bring a couple of games to a conclusion. Florida, New Jersey, the waning seconds. 4-3 is how it ends. The Devils, you see a little skirmish, but that didn't amount to much. So Brodeur and the Devils grab game one against the Panthers on home ice. Here's Sergei Fedorov. Rob Blake's the lone man back, and Fedorov scores the goal to make it 2-zip with 10 seconds to play. Chris Osgood preserved the shutout with 19 saves, the 7th of his career. The Wings beat the Kings to go up 1-zip in that one. And just underway in Denver, here's a scramble around Burke. Sean Podine gets his first from Reed and Bourque at 4:23, 1-0 Avalanche.
Well, the Avs love it when the Grinders can get the scoring going. A quick start for Colorado. St. Louis winning last night. Detroit, so the Fab Four in the West, the top 4 seeds, looking good out of the gate, but of course, it's very early.
And I think what's very important to all those 4 teams is they're going to try to get rid of their first-round opponents in a hurry. Because if you do that, it really pays dividends in the later rounds because they get a lot tougher. You know, Dallas wants to get Edmonton out of the way as quickly as they can, just like they did last year.
There's Bert Robertson, angled off again, couldn't get loose. Ulanov at his own line. A pass ahead, and there is German Titov. Rolling it deep, Servanov in on the forecheck with Titov, but the Stars quickly exit the zone. Marchand hit the pocket of Thornton, and the Oilers regain possession. Cody ahead to Marchand. He couldn't get loose, and here's Dallas on the counterattack. They couldn't get anything going. Marchand broke it up. Now Liashenko for the Stars. Long shoot in by Manson, rolling to Salo. 4 straight single-digit periods for the Oilers in shot production. Just 3 in the first period. And last night it took them 16 minutes to get a shot in the second period. Belfour gets tangled up there with Ethan Morrow behind the play. Here's Cody. Puck loose. Down went Marchand. Quickly on the puck is Sloan. Sloan, Carbonneau, and Keane, the checking line for Dallas. Ethan Morrow. Right wing pass for Cleary. Cleary gets to the red line. Past Keane and into Dallas territory.
They're the checking line, but they're not being used in the checking role right now in this game.
Here's Cleary behind the net. Brown parks in front. There's a centering pass across the front of the goal mouth, all the way out to the point. Nienema can't get it in deep. Dowd though to the rock, and that shot slowed up, and Belfour got caught with the changeup at the point. Here's a shot, and that went wide. Oilers pressure for the first time, sustained, and it's an unlikely group. Larocque, Dowd, and Brown doing some damage, and finally, Keane gets it out.
And Pusher and Dowd battling behind the line. No call on the play. These two teams are grinding it out in the alley.
Now Dowd gets it back in deep. There's Brown after it. Brown trying to center it. Dowd was loose. Hull takes it off the boards, and Muller. Quick outlet. Up comes Hatcher with Muller. 2-on-1. Muller off the bar. Kurt Muller came within an inch of scoring his second of the game. Boy, they counter quickly, and here's Hull. Modano's in front. Here's Modano on a big play by Salo to get his stick out and break up the pass. Once again, it's Modano with Muller and Hull. And here's a shot right on. Salo didn't know where it was, but it was under the pads. And all the Stars come close as they counter quickly again.
Well, the Oilers get caught on the pinch, and that's what starts this playoff right back in the Dallas zone. Here comes the pinch. Nienema's caught. Whoa! And away he goes, and that creates a 2-on-1 right off the bars. Nienema was caught way up the ice. Now the Oilers don't do a nice job in the neutral zone, and as the Stars gang up on the rock, they're on a long shift. And then Kevin Brown lets Mike Modano go. That was his check going to the net. And the Stars get a second good, solid chance. Now they're running all over the place. Don't forget, this is a long, long shift for the Oilers. And they couldn't get a change because of that initial bad pitch by Yanni Nienema way back in the Dallas zone that started it all off.
That's how lethal Dallas is, though. For the first time, you got a sense that Edmonton had something going offensively, and immediately they were turned on their heels, and it was almost the Stars expanding their lead. Doug Waits got to shake loose soon. Out with Guerin and Smith once again. Here's Waite firing it across, and Langenbrunner there for Dallas. Jamie Langenbrunner, a strong playoff a year ago. Modano, hot shot, and Salo again sprawls to smother the puck. And we go back to Ron McLean.
And we'll make sure nothing happens there. Chris, here's the final. Pittsburgh has won game one at MCI. That's Herb Brooks, Ivan Holinka, Eddie Johnson. It's hard to know who's running the bench, but pretty clear who's running the show on this 7-0 triumph. Ron Tugnutt, 32 saves. Pens lead the Caps 1-0.
And Salo once again robs Mike Modano. Modano was telling me this morning that Salo does a good job of getting down low in a hurry in the butterfly. You either have to get it up or try and beat it between his legs. But he says it's hard to get it up when you're being pressured. Well, Modano was being pressured on that last shot. He wanted to go upstairs. The puck's rolling a bit on him, and he doesn't get all of it. And again, Salo is down in a hurry, but he covers up the 5-hole and reads that shot extremely well.
When Modano has registered a point this year, the Stars 35, 10, and 5. And Mike Modano set up the only goal of the game so far by Kirk Muller in the first period. Sador rolling it back in on Salo, and Pody trying to swing away from Nieuwendyk. Kevin Lowe suggesting he'd like more offense from his defensemen, in particular Pody and Nienema in game two, and a high stick Holtz play.
Well, with that Larocque line, they worked it down low, and that was the first time that Kevin Lowe's team has had good down low pressure in this game against the Dallas Stars, but you have to shoot it in first. And I'm sure Kevin Lowe would like his team to shoot the puck in more and then get the pressure going. The only bad news for the Oilers on that shift was, in fact, that they stayed out too long. And then the Stars counterattacked, and Larocque and company were really tired, and that's what created that strong chance to score on Tommy Salo.
Well, the wheels turning at the Oiler bench, and how do you generate offense? It's been a problem for the Oilers. In their last 10 playoff games against Dallas, just 13 goals.
And just 4 shots registered so far in this game, and we're almost halfway through it.
Just 9 for the Stars as Lyashenko fires it in. Here's Nieuwendyk after it. Hit from behind by Thornton. Pody slow to get up, and a penalty coming up against Dallas. Tom Pody was jarred from behind by Scott Thornton. Hansen touches it, and Paul Dvorsky will make the call. Thornton heading up. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Labatt Blue.
Thornton in the penalty box for checking from behind, and he's going to get a boarding penalty here as he hits Pody in. Now Pody got up a little bit slowly, but he's okay, and he will be on this power play.
Pody gets set at one point, Roman Hammerlick at the other. Waite, Guerin, and Smith, and from the draw, Waite gets it back to Pody. Ryan Smith, watched by Matt Tkachuk. And the Stars come up with it and send it down the ice. The Oilers, on their 3rd power play of the night, they're 0 for 6 in the series.
I'm sure people at home are wondering what's wrong with the Oilers' power play. Well, number one, they're not getting it in the zone, and when they do, they're not overloading the puck to gain possession. This time, Doug Waite gets it in, though.
Ryan Smith bolting in, now circles. Pody, Tom Pody to Hammerlick. Cross-ice pass off a skate, and the Stars are on it, and they break out with 3 men. Mike Keane over the line. Keane chops it at the net. Salo in trouble with that. Carbonneau on the doorstep. Took a whack at it, and now Pody comes away with the puck. Up for Smith. He's nailed there by Matt Tkachuk, who works him over, and Modano just failed to get loose. Bounced in by Pody. And Belfour will hold it for a face-off. Here again, Ron McLeod.
Thank you, Chris. This time back in Denver, it's a goal by Dave Anderchuk, and it's a nifty give and go. Drury and Anderchuk work it here beautifully. Ozolinsh had the other assist, and it's 2-zip quickly for Colorado against Phoenix.
Well, Ed Belfour said after the game last night that it was a hard game for him to play because he didn't get much work, and when he did, they were tough saves. Well, Matt Tkachuk really works over Ryan Smith, much to the crowd's delight here in Dallas. They love that hitting style, just like Cowboys football are used to it. Matt Tkachuk, he's had trouble with his knees all season. In fact, he's telling me that after the year, he may again have to have some work done on them. They're sore every game, but he just keeps on playing.
Enjoyed his best year in the NHL, an Edmonton native who brought the cup home last summer. There's Ulanov, a shot right on Eddie the Eagle.
And a good chance to score off the draw, but again, Dallas blocks off the Oilers so they can't get towards Ed Belfour. There's the point shot. Nobody's going to the net. In fact, they don't even have to block off the Oilers because there is nobody going to Ed Belfour. They all just spread out and go to the sideboards. If you win that draw, my goodness, you should get to the net. At least try to, particularly when you're playing against a terrific goaltender like Ed Belfour.
Belfour was joking after the game that he didn't get enough work last night. And it hasn't been that busy so far tonight. 14 shots last night and 5 so far this evening.
The importance of winning draws, another example when you're killing penalties. The puck goes all the way down the ice. Edmonton has to start over.
7.5 minutes into the second period. 33 seconds left on the Thornton penalty. Ulanov over the line with Sylvanov. 10 power play goals on the year. In deep for Murray. He's nailed by Hatcher. Oilers up with the puck, however. Titov to Sylvanov. Ulanov across. There's Dowd. A back pass in for Titov. The only Oiler to score so far. Drilled by Hatcher again. Lost the helmet. Lost the puck. And away goes Keane. A shot high and out of play. 4 seconds left, and the Oilers in danger of going 0 for 7 in the series.
Well, Titoff was drilled by Hatcher last night in the first period, and Titoff said it was a wake-up call. Well, he's awake again, but this time it took 2 periods for Hatcher to give him the wake-up call. As he does, it gives him a pretty good ride once again into the boards. And Hatcher, I can't say enough about his play. He has been a force in both these games so far with his big hits, his strong positional play. And I don't know if he gets enough recognition playing here in Dallas that he should across the National Hockey League, because, I mean, we don't hear about his name mentioned a whole lot when we talk about Norris, and maybe we should. In fact, I know we should.
Well, he missed 33 games. There's Todd Marchand in a game earlier this year. He had his calf lacerated by the skate of Marchand in a mishap that sidelined him. He's still having trouble with the calf and was icing it down after the game last night. They were a little concerned that it might be a problem after 33 minutes. Lots a lot of ice time, and he's been playing through that injury all season long. Stars back at full strength. Thornton back on the ice with Modano and Langenbrunner. Jamie Langenbrunner up to Thornton at center. Looking for Modano, is being held up by Marchand, who takes over, and now Niedema to the line, and it's offside. A dangerous rush negated by the offside call. We'll join Scott Russell.
Well, Chris, Brad Smith is here scouting this one for the Colorado Avalanche. Seems like you spent a lot of time in Dallas watching the Stars, Smitty. Are they still as dangerous as they always have been?
They sure are. Their defensive game is one of the best in the National Hockey League, and as you can see, as they tested last night, Edmonton didn't muster too much to the net, and tonight they only got about 5 shots on goal. We're halfway through the game.
Always play close games with the Oilers. Did you see the Oilers as a chance to come back in this one, take a little bit of control?
Edmonton plays well against anybody. They're a dangerous team against anybody they play. They're fast. They take the body, and the more they take the body, the more they can wear Dallas down, and it could go for a long series. But I think they better start taking a lot more of the body.
I got to ask you, what do you hear about Forsberg's availability soon?
Well, we're just taking it one day at a time, and they're still indefinite right now, and we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Smitty. Good luck.
Thank you.
Guys.
Fourth line back out for the Oilers. Scott, Dowd, Larocque, and Brown.
Good try, Scott, but do you think he's really going to tell you? You got to ask it, though.
Here's Dowd rolling it in. Sylvain Cote lost the puck. Larocque and Hull battling for it. Hull trying to slow him up. George gets it in front. Loose puck. Scrum and a penalty coming up against the Stars. So a good shift by Larocque. And the end result is an Oiler power play. And Ken Hitchcock's power play has been perfect in this series, but the Oilers going to get another chance to tie the game with a man advantage. And whoops, Larocque and Belfort just bumped into each other.
Busher involved also. Larocque is doing a good job in this second period of play of working the puck down low and then causing all kinds of problems for the Dallas Stars. And Ken Hitchcock mentioned this to me before the game. He said, you know, that Larocque, we got to be careful, because when he does finally get down low, we can't defend against him. He's so big. A good example on this last play, we're going to get a hooking call to the Dallas Stars as Larocque, yeah, right beside the net, as he says. You're right. Comes out and walks out. Muller's going to be the culprit.
Well, it is Kirk Muller. I thought it was Brett Hull on Larocque. Kirk says, I didn't do anything.
And it was just as Larocque was walking out from behind the net. He was hooked onto now. It was a penalty. I guess the only question Hatcher has is, did you get the right guy?
So it is Muller. The Oilers 0 for 7 in the series. But what's even worse is just 2 shots on goal with the power play. So imagine. No wonder they're the best penalty killing team in NHL history.
When you're not working your power play well, you just got to get it back to the point, jam the net, and get some shots.
Here's Waite with a loose puck back to Pody. Maybe a shot here. Belfort down, didn't get through. Knocked down by Waite. They'll get another chance at the line. Pody. There's Ryan Smith, worked over by Hatcher. Along the boards, Guerin knocked down, and we'll get a whistle, and Hatcher now, and Ryan Smith tumbling, and I think Smith's going off. Yes, it's Smith.
He doesn't like it. But the official called it immediately after the contact on the side boards.
Just 39 seconds into the Oilers' power play, and now they're 0 for 8.
Well, Smith and Hatcher had it going pretty well. Smith trying to get by. Boy, he's a good board player. The reason is he keeps his feet moving. And then afterwards, the scrum on the boards, Mapachuk goes in, Smith goes in. And that isn't it. It happens a little bit afterwards, I believe.
Now it's tripping as Smith, I guess, upended Hatcher getting into the fray. And
maybe that was it.
That's why Smith wasn't happy with it. So we passed the midway point of the second period. 4-on-4. We had a 4-on-4 situation last night. And Greg, it was one of the best flurries of the game for the Oilers, but here's Modano dropping it off, and Langenbrunner overskated it. Boy, that looked dangerous. That T-top with a weak pass gives it away, and the Stars will take over in their own zone. Langenbrunner looking for Modano with a little open ice. Here he goes, working against Hammerlick, and he won't let him by. Taken down hard. The fans react. Now the Oilers come back. Union Arena wanted a penalty there. Now Modano colliding with Cody inside the Dallas line. And behind the play, Langenbrunner has gone on Hammerlick in response to the takedown of Modano. So it heats up here with under 9 minutes to go in the second period. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Labatt Blue. Leads Dallas out to Sador. 8 minutes remaining, second period. And Brett Hull winds up. A hot shot off the glove of Salo. And out of play. Another Stanley Cup update from Ron McLean.
Thanks a lot, Chris. It's all Colorado Avalanche in their game against the Phoenix Coyotes this evening. Sandis Ozolinsh sneaks in here. You see right on the doorstep. And on the backhand from Sakic, and Deadmarsh gives the Avs a 3-0 lead in the first.
And again, Brett Hull with that chance. Seems to me like the Dallas Stars want to go high on Tommy Salo. Every shot that they take, they're going upstairs, waiting for him to go into that butterfly, and that's how the only goal of the game was scored by Kirk Muller in the first period. It was up over top of Salo.
Hull called his regular season a disaster, anxious for the playoffs to start and kind of get back on track. Ken Hitchcock was saying prior to the game, you often get the feeling Hull's going to score before he does. And Hitchcock had that feeling a few times in game one, and you do sense that Hull's ready to break out here soon.
And he told me as well that he's hurting with a stomach stretch problem, so he's not 100% out there either, and hasn't been for most of the season.
The teams were back at full strength briefly, but now Selivanov calling down his man, and he will be headed off. Selivanov appears surprised after the tackle on Daryl Sador. So this time the Stars will get a full power play.
Well, Edmonton's starting to grab on a little more to the Stars as they do get more pressure off the forecheck, but you can't do that. You can't tackle your opponent going into the boards. And Sador with that new haircut gets hauled down. I talk about the new haircut. Scott Russell had him on in last night's game, and he got a couple of phone calls from home asking about his new haircut, one being from his father, saying, "What are you doing?"
He and Grant Marshall going bleach blonde. Expect to see Marshall in game 3. Here they come on the power play. Nieuwendyk drops it back. Cote and Sador the point man. There's Modano. Shot goes off the mark.
And high again. They're going high.
Brett Hull Feeds Sador. Back in deep, Nieuwendyk behind the net. Modano and Waite to the puck. And Modano has it in the corner, in front of the net by Hull and Sador. And Belfour comes out of the net and now retreats, giving way to Sador. Russell was rather hard on Darryl about the hairstyle.
I don't know if he was hurt. He just wanted to know what it was all about.
Sador going down late, a little kick stop, and the play offside as Ryan Smith charged in, but Morrow was trapped inside the line. And bodies tumbling, and Smith asking for a penalty call on the hit after the whistle.
We know these two teams didn't like each other much going into this, but it was pretty tame. The series has been until the last 5 minutes or so, and things now are heating up considerably. And Ryan Smith looking for a call here, and a bit of a slew foot from Brendan Morrow. And he taps him as well to give him a little love tap. And then Sador with a little kick save to keep the puck away, and then he just ducks as Ethan Morrow is running after him.
You're keeping tabs now. The Oilers still with only 5 shots in the game. And we are approaching the 14-minute mark of the second period. Here's a chance. Belfour down. Stack the pads. And now on the counterattack, here come the Stars. Thornton fires it in. Hatcher went after it. Langenbrunner winds up. That's off the shin guards of Rem Murray and back out to center. Half minute remaining on a Dallas power play. Langenbrunner in, taken away by Hammerlick, and he'll send it down the ice. 6 shots by the Oilers. Their playoff low 13 last year in a game against Dallas. Got by Hatcher, look out. Hatcher didn't see Morrow on the move. In front, Marchand! Belfour under the net! And Hatcher came back to get the puck out of trouble.
One more chip over Belfour. That puck was in as he gambled and won out. Belfour won the gamble with a little help from Hatcher.
Well, an anxious time there for Ed Belfour. Todd Marchand with that great speed came close to an equalizer.
I want you to watch the right of your screen because Matvichuk is the one that saves the goal as he hooks on to Brendan Morrow going to the net after Ed Belfour arrived late on Marchand. There's Marchand. There's the hook. Pardon me, it was Marchand on the rebound attempt. And Matvichuk just hooked onto enough so that Todd Marchand could not knock in the loose puck after Ed Belfour lost the race in the slot.
So it remains 1-0 Dallas, 5:15 remaining in the second period. And this game is really following the same storyline of last night, Greg.
Very tight. Dallas just completely smothering the Edmonton Oilers, and neither team generating a whole lot of offense.
Salo stops it up. Niinema twisting away from Carbonneau, and Yanni Niinema rolling it to the Stars line. Now Jason Smith will try and get it in deeper, but it's knocked down by Sador. The Dallas Stars zone hermetically sealed so far in this series. Dowd.
What did you call it?
I think I could say it again. It's sealed up tight.
That's not a hockey term, I know that.
Here's Larocque winding up. Sends it in, Belfour out of the net. He'll swing it around, Larocque waiting for it. Quick shot off the side of the net. Now Murray to the point, Hammerlick fires it. And that one deflecting wide of the net, kept in by Ulanov, and now the Stars will break out. Here's Lyashenko over the line. Roman Lyashenko, his shot off the ankle of Ulanov. Igor Ulanov swings it ahead on the left wing. Gearman Titov to center. He'll dump it in and giving Jay Sylvanov, ridden out by Matvichuk. Here's Sylvanov back on the puck. Fires it around. Ulanov will pinch in. Thornton gets it by him. and back out with 3.5 minutes to play. Dumped back in by Haralick, and it goes over the glass and into the seats, and we have another Stanley Cup update.
Chris, just keeps getting worser and worser for the Phoenix Coyotes. Sandis Ozolinsh scores a goal from the blue line. It's a great move by Ozolinsh. Top of the circle, he just rips it by Sean Burke. Deadmarsh and Drury assisting on that. No first Forsberg, but 4-zip for the Avalanche.
And George Laraque has been one of the best Edmonton Oilers in this second period of play because he's getting on the body, but he's getting into the zone. And believe me, when you can get into the zone and you're as big as Laraque, you can do some damage. He made a loss that one, but it still hurt. Believe me, Pusher felt it.
I guess 250 pounds coming at you. It's a good thing there's giving the boards here at Reunion Arena. Here's Brendan Morrow. Pass miss, Langen runner. Up ahead. Ethan Morrow on the ice for the Oilers, being held up as he kicks it ahead for Marchand. Now Morrow tucked down by Morrow. And Morrow's got the puck. That's Brendan. Over to Modano. Sidesteps a hit. Feeds the point. Matt Tkachuk moves up. Fires it. And misses on the short side. Doug Waite trying to get loose. Squeezing by Hatcher, but Hatcher slowed him up so he couldn't catch up with the puck. Now Modano just couldn't reach that. In against Smith and a high shot. Once again, that's the theme.
Every shot going at Salo is up
And high. Gloved down by Aaron Gavey. Here's Muller crashing in there against Nienema. Marchand helping out, kept in by Cote. His shot wide. Sador moves up. Muller's behind the net. Swings it in front. Salo down. Score! Brett Hull has the goal.
with 2:05 to go in the second. How big is this goal for the Dallas Stars? They keep the pressure in and the scrum starts as the puck goes around, and again, Dallas is so good at pinching in and reading plays to keep pucks alive in the offensive zone. They do it once, twice, now again, two Oilers chasing the puck, and that leaves Brett Hull wide open in front as both Oilers go to the side. Todd Marchand chases it. 1, 2, 3 Oilers fishing for the puck. They don't look behind. Brett Hull comes from behind and makes no mistake.
And the misnamed fourth line has done it again. They're on their feet here in Dallas.
And that's all about patience. Again, the Oilers lose their patience in their defensive coverage. And 3 Oilers are fishing for the puck instead of just waiting, letting Salo make the save. I mean, the puck's right there for Salo to hop on. He can't possibly do it with all the Oilers standing in front of him. And Brett Hull just cruises into that scene like he does so well and chips it in.
Kirk Muller, Aaron Gavey get assists on Hull's first of this playoff year, the 78th of his career. He matched Dad's goal total in the NHL, but he has surpassed Bobby Hull's playoff total. Hull with 62 Stanley Cup playoff goals. Cody loses his footing in Edmonton territory. 2-0 Dallas. And there's Keane barging in again, bumping into Hammerlick. Sloan on the far side, taken out by Dowd. So the fourth line with both goals, although the first was scored with Modano at center. This one scored with Aaron Gavey, who has seen spot duty tonight at center with Muller and Hull. And who wouldn't love to have a fourth line like that?
And Brett Hull said, you know, I didn't mind being moved around in game 1 because I did get my ice time. Let's see if we can pick up the Oilers again. They all just end up chasing the puck and fishing for it. Here comes Brett Hull. And that's a 2-on-3. There are 3, and in fact 4 Oilers back in position, but they're just chasing the puck. And Salo's looking for it. He can't find it, and then Hull just shoots it in the empty net.
The Dallas dominance portrayed in the opening 2 games of the set.
Down, knocked through, but he scored. 2-0 Stars. Hull's first of the postseason. Third period, 3-0 Stars. Eddie Belfour, glove save and a beaut. Gets the shutout. Second against the Oilers. 3-0 the final. And the Stars halfway home to the second round. 2-0 in the best of 7. Eddie Belfour with his 8th playoff shutout. He only had to make 17 saves. The Stars have beaten Edmonton at home 11 straight times. And in the playoffs against them are 9-0-1 in the last 10.